I didn't plan to find out today. I just wanted to check Rick's dashcam, make sure everything from last night's raid was logged correctly. But the moment I hit play, my world tilted. Rick was leaning close to Pam. His hand brushed hers, just enough to be intimate but casual, the kind of touch that only someone who's been sneaky could pull off without blinking. Pam's eyes glittered, smug, calculating. And then it hit me like a fist. They were laughing. Laughing about me. About how they had framed me. I froze. The footage was grainy, the audio low, but I could make out every chilling word. Jade will take the fall. She's too busy playing hero to notice the setup, Rick said, voice smooth, too casual. Pam chuckled, flipping a file in her hands. She's perfect for it. No one will suspect a thing. You know she won't see it coming. I felt bile rise in my throat. My hands shook, gripping the dashcam. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make them feel just a fraction of what I felt now. But I couldn't. I had to think. Breathe. Not yet. I leaned back in the chair, replaying their conversation over and over. Each word etched itself into my mind. I saw their smug faces, heard the condescending laughter, felt the dagger twisting deeper in my chest. Rick, my partner, my boyfriend, my everything, had plotted against me. I remembered last night's raid. The chaos, the sudden crossfire, the panic in my unit. At the time, I'd thought it was just bad luck, poor coordination. But now, it all made sense. The accidental shot that hit me, the timing of the orders, even the way my team hesitated. They had set me up perfectly. I wanted to rip my hair out. Why? I whispered to the empty office, voice trembling. Why would you do this? I trusted you. No answer, of course. Just the cold hum of the office lights and the lingering echo of their laughter. I couldn't let this go. I couldn't. Not just because it was betrayal, it was murder by proxy. They had tried to get me killed. I stood abruptly, pacing, trying to figure out my next move. My fingers hovered over my phone. I could call the captain, report everything. But I needed proof. I needed more than this dashcam clip. I needed undeniable evidence before anyone would believe me. And yet, part of me wanted to confront Rick first. I wanted to see the fear, or at least the guilt, flash across his face. My heartbeat thundered as I imagined standing in front of him, eyes blazing. You planned this, I'd say.
Me.
My death. And for what? Your petty little gain? I shook my head, trying to calm the storm inside me. Confrontation could wait. Right now, survival and strategy came first. I grabbed my coat, shoved my phone, and the dashcam into my bag. Every step I took felt like I was marching straight into hell, but I couldn't stop. Not until I knew how far this went. Not until I knew the full extent of their treachery. And one thing was clear. Nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same. Tonight, betrayal had a name. Rick. And tomorrow, justice would have one too, mine. The raid was chaos. Guns rattled, alarms blared, and screams tore through the night. My heart pounded, my nerves razor-sharp. I moved fast, clearing rooms, checking corners, trusting instincts honed from years on the field. But something felt off. Too many gaps, too many misplaced people. Rick was beside me, or should have been. I glanced at him.
Calm. Too calm.
Watching me, smiling that same smug smile I had seen in the dashcam footage. I ignored it, focused on the target. The suspect burst from the side hallway, gun raised. I dove, rolled, fired. He went down.
Good.
But then, bang. Pain exploded in my side. I hit the ground hard, chest burning, vision blurring. Shouts, panic, confusion. My team was yelling, running, ducking. Jade. Get down, someone screamed, but their voice sounded distant. I tried to push myself up. My fingers trembled over my side.
Blood.
Hot, sticky, searing. I knew this wasn't from the suspect. Rick's voice cut through the chaos. Covering fire. Stay low. But something in the tone, too smooth, too controlled, made my stomach twist. I looked up. A flash of movement, a muzzle, then black. Everything went silent. I felt myself falling, weightless, like the world had ripped open beneath me. Pain, yes, but something worse. Betrayal, raw and unrelenting. I had trusted him. I had followed him into the fire. And now, I was lying here, bleeding, wondering if anyone would even notice if I didn't get up again.
Jade.
Hang in there, shouted someone. A hand reached for me. I tried to respond, tried to move, but my body refused. I thought of Rick.
Pam.
The dashcam. The setup. The calculated precision. It wasn't an accident. My mind raced even as darkness crept in. They had wanted me dead.
A flash. Pain.
Voices fading. The world turned gray, then black. I felt weightless, suspended between what was and what could be. My life, my future, ripped apart in seconds. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was lethal. And yet, even as the darkness swallowed me, one thought burned. I wasn't done. Not like this. Not ever. Somewhere deep inside, a spark refused to die. Anger.
Rage.
Survival. It clenched me tighter than the blood, tighter than the fear. I would wake. I would come back. And they, Rick, Pam, everyone who thought they could destroy me, would pay. But for now, nothing. Nothing but silence. And then the faintest pull, like being dragged against the current. I felt myself stirring, like waking from a nightmare too vivid to forget. My eyes fluttered, pain screaming through me, but consciousness returned, shard by shard. The last thing I remembered before full blackout, Rick's face calm, smiling, as if he already knew he had won. I wanted to scream, to curse, to rip him apart right there. But I couldn't. Not yet. Darkness claimed me completely. I woke up with a jolt, heart hammering, sweat soaking my uniform. My side didn't hurt. Not a twinge. I blinked. The briefing room was buzzing, maps on the table, officers arguing tactics. I froze. Something was off. Too familiar. Too early. Then it hit me, this was it. The day of the raid. The day before everything went wrong. I was back. 6 months earlier. Every memory, every betrayal, every bullet. I remembered it all. I scanned the room. Rick leaned against the wall, casual, joking with Pam. My stomach twisted. Same smug smiles, same laughter. The pieces clicked. I had a second chance. A clean slate. And I wasn't going to waste it. I moved to the table, standing tall, pretending like I belonged. Captain's eyes flicked to me. Jade, you're early. Just getting a head start, I said. My voice was steady.
Calm.
Inside, every nerve screamed. Rick's gaze met mine briefly. I could feel him calculating, thinking I didn't know.
Perfect.
Let him think I'm oblivious. The briefing went on. Maps, targets, timings. I memorized every detail, every blind spot, every misstep, every moment where I had been set up to die. When it ended, officers filed out. I lingered. Rick moved to talk to me. Too close, too casual. Ready for the raid, Jade? He said, voice low, confident. I smiled. Always. You. He smirked. You'll see. Just follow my lead. Follow his lead? Not this time. Not ever again. I slipped out quietly, phone in my pocket. Dashcam from the previous timeline?
No.
But I didn't need it. I had the memory. Every detail burned into my mind like a blueprint. The betrayal, the fire, the exact moment I would have died. I would use it. I would flip the game entirely. Back at my apartment, I moved fast. Notes, recordings, lists. Every connection. Every lie, every manipulation. I needed leverage. I needed a plan. And most importantly, I needed allies I could trust.
Kale.
Captain of the rival precinct. I remembered him. Strong, calculating, dangerous, but loyal to the right cause. If anyone could help me, it was him. And I would make sure he saw the truth before Rick had a chance to twist it. I sent him an encrypted message. Short, precise. I have proof. We stop Rick and Pam before it's too late. Meet tonight. No hesitation. No wasted words. Time was everything. By dusk, I was in position. Observation points mapped. Cameras scanned. Rick and Pam moved like they had rehearsed it, completely oblivious to my shadow in the alley across from them. I traced every move they had made before, memorized their path, and waited. When they stopped at the rendezvous point, I moved. Silent, precise. I planted my recorder. Every incriminating word, every laugh, every hint of the trap. This time they wouldn't get away. Not me. Not anyone. As I melted back into the shadows, my heart pounded. Fear? Maybe. But more than anything, power. I had been given life again. Not to survive, but to dominate. And tomorrow, they would regret ever thinking they could bury me. Kale was already waiting when I walked into the empty parking garage. Arms crossed, jaw tight, eyes sharp. You don't call me out of the blue unless someone's about to bleed, he said. They tried to kill me, I replied. No hesitation. No drama. Rick and Pam, I have proof. He stared at me for a second, then nodded. Show me. I handed him the recorder. He listened in silence, face hardening with every second. Rick's voice echoed in the concrete space. She won't make it out of the raid. Pam's laugh followed. Kale stopped the audio. That's enough. They set the crossfire. They made me the target, I said. Tomorrow they'll do it again. Not if I move first, he said. We take them during the operation.
Clean.
Legal. Good, I said. Because I want them awake when it happens. He almost smiled. We met again an hour before the raid. Kale brought 2 of his best officers. No one I didn't trust. No one who'd sell me out. Your people won't know, he said. Mine will shadow the scene. When Rick gives the signal to redirect units, we intercept. And Pam? I asked. She won't leave the van. I'll take her myself. I exhaled slowly. Let's finish this. The raid began like last time. Same doors. Same noise. Same chaos. But this time, I wasn't blind. Rick leaned close to me in the hallway. You're on point, he said. I met his eyes. Always. We moved. Gunfire erupted. Suspects scattered. Exactly as I remembered. Rick lifted his hand. The signal I had memorized in my sleep. That was my cue. I tapped my mic, now. Kale's voice cut in immediately. All units freeze. Weapons down. Rick spun toward me. What the hell is this, Jade? I raised my gun, not at the suspects. At him. Drop it, I said. His eyes darted. Pam's van screeched outside. Kale's team swarmed her. I heard shouting, cuffs snapping shut. Rick stepped back. You're making a mistake. You already made it, I said. He raised his weapon. Kale fired first. Rick's gun skidded across the floor. He dropped to his knees, hands yanked behind his back. You set her up, Kale said coldly. Friendly fire, my ass. Rick screamed, thrashing. She's lying. She's crazy. I leaned down until we were eye to eye. You said I wouldn't notice, I whispered. You were wrong. They dragged him away. I didn't look back. Outside, Pam was already cuffed, face pale, mascara streaked. She saw me and went wild. You ruined everything, she screamed. No, I said. You did. Kale walked up beside me. Internal Affairs is already on their way. The footage, the recordings, the timing, this will bury them. I finally let myself breathe. You okay? He asked. I am now. He studied me, something unreadable in his eyes. I've wanted you on my team and in my life for a long time, Jade. I blinked. This isn't the time. He smirked. I disagree. You just burned down your old world. You'll need a new one. Sirens wailed in the distance. Rick was shoved into the back of a cruiser, shouting my name like it still meant something. It didn't. I looked at Kale. You offering me a transfer or something else? Both, he said. If you're brave enough to take it. I glanced at the flashing lights, the wreckage of my past scattered across the pavement. I already died once, I said. I'm not afraid of starting over. He held out his hand. I took it. I didn't wait for the precinct to settle. Rick and Pam were cuffed, screaming, but I had work to do. Every second I hesitated was a second they could slip out, manipulate, or retaliate. Cale's hand on my shoulder grounded me. Internal affairs will process them. But what about the rest of the rats? I smirked. Show me the trail. I'll finish it. We went straight to Rick's office. Files, emails, transaction records. Everything he touched reeked of lies and manipulation. I ripped through the drawers, memorized codes, and flagged anything that could implicate his allies. Cale's team covered the exits. No surprises. You think you can handle this solo?
Cale asked.
I already am, I replied. No hesitation, no doubts. Minutes later, the first call came in. One of Rick's lieutenants had tried to flee the city. I tracked him in real time, eyes glued to the monitor. Go, I said. Cale nodded. Two of his officers moved like shadows. Within seconds, the man was intercepted, cuffed, shoved into a car. He didn't see me coming, didn't know who I was. But I knew him. I knew everyone. Back in Rick's office, I opened his private safe. Names, accounts, payments, every single thread of his network laid bare. I printed files, copied hard drives, made notes. By the time internal affairs arrived, they had a blueprint of every crooked deal, every backdoor favor. No one would escape justice. Then I went after Pam. She was still screaming in her holding cell. I leaned close. You're done. Every plan, every manipulation, every lie, it ends tonight. She spat at me. You'll regret this. I laughed softly. I already survived your betrayal. Regret is your only option. Cale watched from the hallway. You sure you want to play executioner? I don't. I want justice. And I want control. By the next hour, every loose end tied. Every co-conspirator apprehended or exposed. I had the files, the leverage, and the proof. The precinct was mine to stabilize. Rick and Pam's empire collapsed in hours, faster than anyone expected. Cale leaned against the wall, arms crossed. You're ruthless. Efficient. I corrected him. Ruthless is what they were. I just survived it. He gave me a slow nod, respect hidden in his gaze. You're ready for bigger things. More than this precinct. I smirked, scanning the office, the maps, the screens. I've always been ready. We went over the arrests, the evidence, the notifications. No mistakes. No loopholes. I didn't want a single thread left for Rick to cling to. He had underestimated me. That would never happen again. Outside, the night was calm. Streetlights flickered, sirens fading in the distance. I leaned back against the wall, letting the adrenaline drain slowly. You okay? Cale asked again. I looked at him, eyes hard. Better than I've ever been. This is my world now. He smiled faintly, almost approvingly. Then don't waste it. I nodded, already thinking ahead. The precinct, the city, my enemies, they all needed someone sharp, someone unflinching. Someone who could survive betrayal and still come out on top. That someone was me. Rick and Pam were locked up. Their network dismantled. Every file I had copied, every lead I'd traced, ensured they'd never see the light of day outside prison walls. And yet, the hunger for real control, for real power, pulsed in me stronger than revenge ever did. Cale leaned closer. You ready to step up? For good. I smiled coldly. I was born ready. We walked out together. Lights cutting through the darkness, the city sprawled beneath us. Everything I had lost, everything I had fought for, it was mine again. And nothing, not even betrayal, would take it away this time. I thought it was over. Rick and Pam locked up, their network destroyed. But power leaves a scent, and enemies always smell it. The first warning came at midnight. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. I answered.
You survived. Smart.
But dangerous. A deep, cold voice said. I want you to know we're watching.
Click.
No name. No hint. Just the promise. My pulse quickened. This wasn't idle chatter. This was a threat. I grabbed my coat and left the apartment immediately. Streets were empty, but every shadow felt alive. Every honk, every footstep echoed differently. I had survived betrayal before. I could handle this. But caution was now my weapon. Kale met me at the precinct. "New problem?" he asked. "More than a problem. Someone wants me dead. Or worse, wants the city to burn around me," I said. I handed him the call log. He frowned. "Unknown caller. No trace." "Exactly." I smirked. "Perfect. They think they can scare me. Let's see if they can even catch me first." We worked fast. Surveillance feeds, traffic cams, social media chatter. Whoever was behind this wasn't sloppy. They were precise. Calculated. Dangerous. I didn't wait for Kale to finish. I had to strike first. I went to a safe house I had prepared for emergencies. Computers, encrypted phones, maps. I traced the call's origin to a burner cell in the city outskirts. Close. Too close. I left Kale behind at the precinct. This one was mine. My boots hit the pavement, quiet but fast. Every sense sharpened. I scanned alleys, rooftops, shadows. I didn't know what I would find. An ambush, a spy, a hitman, but I wasn't afraid. I was ready. The cell tower showed multiple pings in the area. I followed them to a warehouse. Dark. Empty. Or so it seemed. I stepped inside, gun raised. Floorboards creaked. A figure moved across the shadows. "You're clever," the voice said, echoing through the metal walls. "But clever doesn't save you." A masked man lunged. I sidestepped, twisted, and slammed him to the ground. Gun trained on his head. "Who sent you?" I demanded. He laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "You think you're done with threats? You've only just begun, Jade. The city has its protectors and its predators. You're now both." Before I could respond, another figure dropped from the rafters. My heart raced 2 against 1, but I was ready. I rolled, firing 3 shots. Both masked attackers froze. I took cover behind crates, breathing hard, calculating. "You can't stop what's coming," the first man spat. "Watch me," I said. I fired, precise, hitting the weapon out of the second attacker's hand. The first one scrambled. I tackled him, slamming his head into the floor. Gun to his temple. "You're done," I said. "Call your boss. Tell them Jade is awake. And I'm not afraid." The warehouse fell silent. Only my ragged breathing filled the space. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I ignored it. Let them make the next move. Let them underestimate me. Kale's voice came through my earpiece. "What did you find?" "Trouble," I said. "But I'm ready." The thrill of survival, of taking control, coursed through me. Rick and Pam were only the beginning. Real power was this, outsmarting predators who thought they could hunt me. And I would. Every last one. I stepped out into the night. The city sprawled below, unaware. But they would see me soon. They all would. Jade wasn't just surviving anymore. I was hunting. I didn't go home after the warehouse. I went straight to the command floor. Kale was already there, staring at the city map. "They were bait," he said. "Not assassins. Scouts." "Good," I replied. "Scouts talk." We dragged the captured man into an interview room. He tried to keep his mouth shut. I didn't raise my voice. I just leaned in. "Your boss called me," I said. "That means I matter. You don't. So start talking." He hesitated. I slid my phone across the table and played the recording of his partner begging for backup before I disarmed him. His shoulders slumped. "We don't have a name. We call him Gray. He buys precincts, judges, mayors, anyone useful." Kale muttered, "Great. A ghost king." I looked at the man. "How does Gray communicate?"
Dead drops.
"Burner phones. Couriers. You'll never reach him." I smiled. "I don't need to reach him. I just need him to see me." Within the hour, I had everything: routes, drop points, meeting times. I didn't sleep. I moved. First target, the courier hub. 2 unmarked vans, rotating drivers. I waited until shift change, then moved in with Kale's team. "On my mark," I said. Doors flew open. Weapons up. 3 couriers froze. One tried to run. I tackled him before he reached the door. Hands behind your head, Kale barked. They complied. I grabbed the satchel from the table. Inside, cash, burner phones, coded notes. Gray just lost his mouth, I said. Next was a city council liaison, quiet, clean, untouchable on paper. I didn't bother with warrants.
I went straight to his office.
He tried to bluff. You can't be here. I dropped the courier's burner phone on his desk. It rang.
His color drained. You're done, I said.
By dawn, 4 more players were in custody. Every arrest was loud. I wanted noise. I wanted panic. Kale cornered me in the hallway. You're provoking a war. I'm ending one, I replied. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. You're burning my network, Gray said calmly. That's bold. You tried to scare me, I said. Now I'm teaching you fear.
A pause.
Then a low chuckle. Meet me. Send the location. A pin dropped. Kale grabbed my arm.
No.
It's a trap. Everything is a trap, I said. I still walk in. We arrived at an abandoned rail terminal. Empty tracks. Echoing halls. I moved first, gun up. Kale flanked left. A man stepped from the shadows. No mask. Calm eyes. Expensive coat. Jade, he said. You're impressive. Talk fast, I replied. You dismantled years of work in one night, Gray said. You don't belong in this city. You should own it. I already do. He smiled. Join me. I laughed. You framed cops, bought judges, and threatened me. That's your pitch. He shrugged. Power is dirty. So is prison, I said. He raised his hand slowly. You think you've won, but you've only replaced Rick. Someone will come for you next. Let them, I replied. I won't miss. Kale moved in behind him. Cuffs snapped shut. Gray didn't resist. He only leaned closer. You're dangerous, Jade. I like that. I stared back. Get used to being disappointed. We walked him out as dawn broke over the tracks. Kale exhaled. You just dismantled the largest shadow network in the city. No, I corrected. I took its throne. He studied me. What now? I looked at the rising sun. Now I rebuild everything they poisoned. And this time, I would make it unbreakable. Gray didn't even look back when they pushed him into the holding area. He just smiled like he'd planted something inside my head. Kale shut the door behind us. It's done. No, I said. It started. The city didn't pause. It shifted. And I was the one pulling the lever. By noon, I had every unit head in one room. No speeches. No ceremony. Corruption ends today, I said. No favors, no hidden deals, no shadows. If you're dirty, you walk out now. Silence. I pointed at the door. Last chance. No one moved. Good, I said, because I don't miss twice. Kale smirked from the corner. The fallout hit fast. Judges calling. Mayors panicking. News vans stacking outside the building. I ignored all of it. I didn't need applause. I needed control. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered. You just broke the system, a woman said. Calm voice. Powerful. Name yourself. Not yet, she replied. But I fund half the city's infrastructure. And I don't like surprises. You'll survive, I said. A pause. Then, you don't scare easily. I died once, I said. Try harder. She hung up. Kale watched me from across the room. You're making enemies faster than I can count. Then count faster. He stepped closer. Jade, you don't need to do this alone. I held his gaze. I'm not. I chose you. That stopped him. By evening, we were intercepting new chatter, groups reorganizing, alliances shifting. Gray's arrest had torn open a vacuum. Everyone wanted a piece of it. A runner burst in. We've got movement near the docks. Armed. Organized. I grabbed my jacket. Let's go. The docks were loud with machinery and water slapping metal. I moved first, scanning. 3 vehicles. No insignia. not cops. A man stepped out, hands open. We're not here to fight. Then you picked the wrong night, I said. We're here to negotiate, he replied. Your enemy is my enemy. Gray?
Kale asked.
The man nodded. He had contingencies, people you haven't met yet. I walked closer. Then talk. He handed me a tablet. Names.
Routes.
Accounts. He was building a replacement network, the man said. You took the head off the snake. The body is still moving. I skimmed the list. It was real. Too real. Why give this to me? I asked. Because I don't want a king, he replied. I want stability. I smiled slightly. Then you're standing in the right place. I signaled Kale. Secure it. The man exhaled like he'd just dropped a weight he'd been carrying for years. Back in the car, Kale glanced at me. You're turning enemies into assets. I'm turning chaos into structure. He studied me for a moment. You don't look like someone who got a second chance. I met his eyes. That's because I didn't come back to live. I came back to lead. The city lights blurred past the windshield. Every street, every building, I could feel it aligning, falling into place. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from a blocked number. You think this is over? I typed back. It is for you. I locked the screen and leaned back. Rick was gone. Pam was gone. Gray was gone. What stood now wasn't revenge. It was rule. And I wasn't stepping down.